Welcome to the University of Michigan Dentistry Podcast Series, promoting oral health care worldwide.
The purpose of today's exercise is to familiarize you with another casting technique known as hygroscopic water-added technique. The main difference between hygroscopic water-added technique and the thermally expanding technique, which you are already familiar, is this. In hygroscopic technique, the major portion of the compensation for the shrinkage of metal and the wax pattern is achieved by setting an hygroscopic expansion of the investment, and the thermal expansion of the investment contributes relatively small amount towards the total compensation. While as in thermally expanding technique, the thermal expansion of the investment is the major part in the compensation, and its setting and hygroscopic expansion is relatively small. In order to do this water-added technique, we have a slightly different equipment than we are familiar with the thermal expanding technique. For example, the ring that we use is a rubber ring, and it can expand very easily laterally as much as it needs to, so there is no need for any asbestos liner in here. And in order to have a little bit of a workability to this, in other words, that to be able to fill it and to be able to handle it, we always have a aluminum sleeve on it. So we put this aluminum sleeve on that one and handle it always in this fashion up to the last minute. And this is a similar sprue former, so the wax pattern is made and placed in this sprue former. Then the ring is placed over it. Then it is filled. Then after filling it, this sleeve is removed. So now that the investment can expand easily laterally, then we put this, what we call it, reservoir on it, and then we add very precisely a prescribed amount of water over the investment. And this amount of the water causes the hygroscopic expansion of the investment. The more water we add on it, the higher is the expansion. Then after 35 minutes or after 45 minutes, all the water goes in, and in another hour or another hour from the beginning of the mix, the investment is ready to be placed in the oven and to eliminate the wax and follow the regular procedure. Now, one may say that why we use these two techniques. The reason for all of these things will be discussed again in your second semester dental materials course. But right now you should know that for all the inlays, you should use hygroscopic water-added technique because it gives the better castings for those inlays. And for full crowns, you better use thermally expanding technique. Now I go ahead over here. This is a class 2 preparation, and I'll make a wax pattern on this one and show you the entire procedure. If I make a wax pattern on this die, that wax pattern is going to stick to the die, and I won't be able to remove it. So in here we use this microfilm as a means of separating media. This is an oily substance, and we place it on the die, and that helps separation of the wax pattern after it's completed. So we put some on it, just the way I'm doing it now. Not too much, but just a little bit. And also I better mention that the purpose of this exercise is not to show you how to make an accurate casting, but the purpose is to show the various steps that are involved in casting of using water-added technique. Now, in water-added technique, the type of waxes that you use, they are supplied to you in these boxes. They are made by Kerr Company. One of them is a soft green wax. One of them is the regular. You always put a layer of a soft green under any wax any preparations because soft green wax adapts much better than any other type of wax to the mold cavity. Therefore, the accuracy is always a little bit better. Now, so you put a little bit of a soft wax in there. I'm saying this that no matter what kind of a pattern is, always use the soft green wax and line it with the soft wax so that you get a better adaptation. Now I have covered the entire area with soft wax. Now I can go ahead and put a regular wax over it until the pattern is made. Wax pattern is made, and in order to make a smooth casting, we have to polish it. The polishing is done by means of these nylon hose. Now it is polished. The next step is to sprue it. We use the hollow metal sprue, like the one that I'm showing you. They come in various sizes, and for a pattern such as this, we need something about 14 gauge. These hollow sprues should be pre-filled with waxes. And very simply this is done. Just take it to the Bunsen burner and heat the sprue and then stick it into the sticky wax. Now sufficient amount of wax is gone inside of this sprue. Then take it and just warm it again and then place it around here. The proper way of making a wax pattern for this particular die is going to be discussed with the operative department. But in here, we are all trying to show you the various steps involved in making water-added casting. Now, I think this wax is hardened. I should be able to remove the pattern. Now then this pattern is removed. Naturally, it's going to be placed on the sprue former and get a side cutter, hold this metallic sprue with side cutter, and then place it in this sprue former. Now usually the size of these holes are larger than the diameter of the sprue, so therefore they have to be reinforced, otherwise they will come loose during the investing procedure. Just add a slight amount of a sticky wax right around here, just like this, okay? Now, by means of debubbleizer, we should remove the extra film of the microfilm which is left on it. And just like before, we take a camel hairbrush and add quite a bit of a debubbleizer on the pattern. So to clean it, wash it all these excess oily film away, and then remove the extra debubbleizer from the wax pattern, just like before. Now, to put the ring on and fill the ring. So as I said, that always handle this rubber ring with sleeves on it, and we place this over here. Now, just like before, use your vacuum spat and place it in there. And once again, take a look through here and see if you could see the entire pattern, which is clear now. Now for this, in this case, we use a different investment. This investment known as a hygrotrol and has a different water powder ratio. It is 16 cc's for 50 grams. And you put 16 cc of water in the bowl and open it and mix it. And then just like the way that you have done already before, just take this one to the vacuum and fill the ring. After the ring is filled, you will remove it like so. Then you will remove the sleeve so that you will allow it to expand. Then you will place this, what is known as a reservoir, over this ring. So that provides an extra room. Then you will go ahead and fill your hypodermic needle and add exactly prescribed amount of water over the ring. In this particular case, we are going to add 1 cc. The easiest way is that to bring this one to 2 cc's. The water level is at 2 cc's. Then add over this one until it reaches to 1 cc. And make sure that always add it by rotating this plunger rather than pushing it all the way through. Then it may squirt and you may lose some of the water. Just hold it like this and turn it around, rotate it, and let them drop by drop to fall. Then you will put it aside for about 45 minutes until all the water goes into the investment. The investment expands hygroscopically, and you will see something similar to this after 45 minutes. Now this thing is ready to go into oven, and naturally you have to remove all the parts that made out of rubber. And for example, I can start removing this reservoir by twisting it. In that case, it may break piece of the investment, but the easiest way is holding it in this fashion and tapping it in here, just like that. And then remove the rubber ring. And then remove the sprue former. Then in this particular case, the sprue came out. And if it didn't come out, then get down in here with your side cutter and pull the sprue off, and then take it to the oven and put it in the oven at 850 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Half an hour hold down and half an hour hold up. And after that, it is ready to be cast. In order to save time, we have provided you with a stone die like this. You are supposed to make a wax pattern on this die, sprue it, and invest it according to water-added technique. Now these stone dies, or just like any other die, need some kind of a separating liquid in there. Otherwise, when you are making a wax pattern in there, wax will stick to the die and it will not be removed as one piece. So again, there are some separating liquids in the market. For example, one of them is this microfilm made by Kerr Company, and another one is Dicept lubricant made by Jelenko Company. And all you have to do, just place some of this separating media on the die, and because these dyes are stone dyes and dry, they are going to absorb quite a bit of that liquid. So put enough of it, but don't overdo it, because then the pattern will not be exactly the size of the die. Now, after having that there, then again you go ahead and make your wax by adding small amount of the wax into this cavity, build up your wax pattern. The wax pattern is made and is ready to be sprued. The sprue that we use in here is a metal and hollow sprues. This is about 16 gauge sprue. And the first thing one should do, fill that hollow sprue with wax. This way you get a better and stronger attachment than using a solid metal sprue. So you heat the sprue and then you stick it into sticky wax. Then that fills that hole. Then you heat it a little bit more, and you attach this sprue exactly to that 45-degree angle. Now hold on a little bit until it hardens. Then just add a very small amount of a sticky wax around this sprue again in order to secure this junction. Now you remove the pattern, and now the pattern is ready to be placed on the sprue former and invested according to water-added technique.
You've been listening to a presentation from the University of Michigan School of Dentistry, which is dedicated to supporting open learning and open educational resources. This recording is licensed under the Creative Commons. It may be reused and redistributed for nonprofit use. Please attribute materials to the University of Michigan School of Dentistry and redistribute under this same license. For more information on how this and other University of Michigan School of Dentistry recordings may be used, visit www.dent.umich.edu/license.